Today we're in Beinn Mheadhoin, just up the Cairngorms. It's a 19-kilometre hike, about 1500 metres of ascent. So time for that will hopefully be about the 9-hour mark. To start off, you just park up in the ski centre car park. So depending on the season, you might get parked no problem, or it might be quite tough. It's a £2 tariff for all day. At the start of the walk, you just follow a path up the side of the vernacular. The wee tram takes you up and down the hill. If you really wanted, you could get that up, and it cuts 2 kilometres off going up, and again back down. However, it's about £19, almost 20 quid per person, I think, if I remember right. So it's not cheap, and probably not worth it, because the path you're walking on is perfectly good, perfectly wide, and the ascent's not even too bad. So I'd probably just save the money for a good meal on your return. Weather is okay just now, bit cloudy, but that was expected, and it should be staying dry. Probably going to be really windy up top though, but as long as it stays dry we'll be okay.
Listening to the wind of change, an August summer night, soldiers passing by, listening to the wind of change.
We're about 3k in, we've been walking for about an hour. The wind picked up once we hit the path that cuts off from the ski path, and it's now pretty much blowing us off our feet, and we've got that for the rest of the walk. Yeah. So some nice views kicking in, the sky's still clear, but that wind's going to be torture all the way.
Closing in, but did you ever think that we could be so close, like brothers? The future's in the air, I can feel it everywhere, like blowing with the wind of change.
We're about 5.5k in, and about 2.5 hours walking. We've just descended into Lochhaven. There's been a couple of people tenting, a couple of people camping the night before. They're just getting ready to set off. It's a nice wee place for a first stop. There's a bit of a wind trap, but you can duck down, get a bit of shelter. It's about a quarter of the way through the hike now. It's not been too tough. The wind was a bit of an obstacle at the start, but it only lasted for about half an hour, and then you kind of got out of it. So time's going quite well, weather's staying decent, and we should keep making some good time. Just behind you can see the shelter stone. That's been there for thousands of years, and it's basically hollowed out. I'd show you, but there's a couple of guys in it just now. They've camped and stayed the night, so you can get it as a bit of an emergency shelter, or if you just fancy being a bit hardcore. But they were saying it's pretty loud and pretty noisy with the way the wind's been the last few days. But it's interesting, worth a wee detour off the path to go and have a look.
Will the children of tomorrow dream away in the wind of change? I'm walking down the street, and distant memories are buried in the past forever. I follow the Moskwa down to Gorky Park, listening to the wind of change. Take me
So that was the last bit of footage shot for the hike of Beinn Mheadhoin. The conditions probably look alright on film. It stayed dry, temperature was okay, but it was extremely windy through most of the hike, so a huge amount of footage I captured was just unusable, be it through ridiculous camera shake, or if it was a point where I was speaking to the camera, the audio was just shot. Even half the stuff I've included I'd rather not, but it's all that was really available. So the hike's 19 kilometres. You cover about 1500 metres of ascent. We finished just under the 8 hour mark. We weren't really pushing it to any great deal. It's, for all it's a long hike, not so much time wise but distance wise, it doesn't feel it. It went by quite quick, and you don't have a huge amount of ascent given the distance you're covering. The hike feels like it breaks down into about 4 sections when you're actually doing it. That's each way. Your first section is just the ascent, essentially up past the ski centre. You're just going up all the way along here. That's really your first bit. Half of it doesn't even feel like you're doing an actual hike because you're following that path up the ski slope, and in your head it just kind of doesn't register that you're on a hill because it's just so manufactured. It's really easy going, it's not too steep an ascent, it's a really easy path and you can manage it no problem. You then have an off cut that takes you off onto the actual hillside itself, but yet again it's not that tough. It's big stone steps and really easy to navigate. The only reason we had any trouble was due to the sheer amount of wind that was almost blowing us clear off our feet. The second part is essentially your descent down into the valley for Loch Ann or Loch Avon. It goes by both names, just here. Yet again, not tough, big stone steps. As long as you're steady on your feet you'll find it no problem. Really nice views. Loch Avon's a lovely wee place. There was a lot of people camping at it and I can see why. Nice sandy beach, great views, wee bit of water. I'm not sure how windy it would have been during the night. One of the guys was saying it did get quite windy. Perfect place for a wee break, just sit, enjoy the view. Just after that you keep going, you'll hit the shelter stone. It's a very well known stone just due to the sheer size and the way it's propped up. You've got a perfect shelter underneath it, which a few guys had been camping in the night before, which unfortunately meant we couldn't really get a good view of going ourselves because they were already pitched up in it. It'd be interesting to see what it's like spending a night in it. Maybe if you're going up and setting a tent up, it'd be worth just having a go to see what it's like, and then you've got your tent as a backup in case it's brutal. Your second point would essentially be your ascent. Going from the beach, your wee detour to the shelter stone. You're following a path that's very clearly marked before your final main ascent up to Beinn Mheadhoin. Yeah, again it's a clear path. Some of the trail guides say it's not path. It is now. There's a reasonably new gravel path that's been marked. It's not the best for walking on because it's very fine gravel and it slides a lot under your feet, but you can tell where you're going no problem at all, so it's really easy to keep track. Your final section is just the ascent up the peak itself. At the very top it's wide open and very barren, but you do have some large stone formations that are quite interesting. Would have loved to have spent a bit more time up there, done a wee bit of filming, however the wind was brutal up top at that point, so it was very much up, couple of novelty photos and then straight back down so that we could get out the wind. The return, I didn't really bother capturing any footage in the return because it's the exact same. You turn around and head back the exact same way you came, so you know exactly what you're in for, and your time will be pretty much the same, just due to the fact it's not your usual where you've done all your climbing and it's a descent all the way down, so you're a lot quicker. This one's quite varied. If you look at the altitude map, or graph rather, which I'll stick down at the bottom just now, it's quite easy to see why it's the same return time anyway. It's not too bad either on your legs because you're in a sense very spread out, you're up and you're down, you're up and you're down. It's not as if you just get hit with 2 hours of climbing without a single break, so it's quite easy going. It's not one, for the length of time it took to hike and the distance covered, and it's also quite out the way drive wise if you're coming from sort of central Scotland, it's not one I'd bother recommending too quick. The only major nice bits, you've got the stones at the end which are interesting but probably not worth the overall effort to get out there. Loch Avon is really nice. We all agreed we'd probably just hike out, spend a bit of time at Loch Avon, and you could quite happily just turn around. That's where the best views are. You've got a lot of nice rock formations, you've got the shelter stone just up from it, and you've got a really nice beach. It's maybe about 2 hours out there and then another 2 back, so if you weren't interested in actually hitting the peaks, it'd be a good idea. You could just do a wee short walk out there and back. All the usual stuff though, Instagram links are up on the screen just now. If you can give us a wee like and a subscribe if you're enjoying the videos. We'll try and get another, hopefully a bit more exciting hill next time.